Hey, have you ever been in a situation whereby you want to discuss this very topic, but then you are wondering and thinking, would the people around me actually think I'm talking about them? Like, would the friends around me that probably knows my channel, would they think I'm talking about them? But then, who cares? If you have the right mindset, and of course, if you're a nice person, every narration in the story, if it suits you, you would know. If it's not about you, you would definitely know. So, in my own opinion, everything I'm going to say in this video, if it suits you, then you need to make a change. But if it has nothing to do with you, just listen, learn, and of course, move on, right? So, today we are going to have this amazing discussion on the harsh truths about unfriendly friends you need to know. So hear me out. Hello, beautiful people. How you guys doing today? I hope you are doing great and, of course, staying out of trouble. Well, I remain your girl D for Delia, and today I've come for us to have this amazing topic and have a good understanding about it. It's about the harsh truth that you need to know about unfriendly friends. Yes, we have unfriendly friends. People you think that they are your friends, people you believe that they are close to you, people you think that you eat, drink, and wine and dine together, but right behind you, they are not happy for you. If she happens to be in a place where someone needs to attest for you, speak good about you, for you to earn something or make a progress in life, they will speak ill about you. We have friends like that. They are your friends. Don't get me wrong, but they are the unfriendly friends. They are not happy with you. They are never happy for you. They would never want you succeed more than them. They are always sad when something good happens for you. As a matter of fact, most of the friends in these categories never come to you except they need something. And if you happens to be somewhere that is more better and elevated than them, they are always sad. But they wouldn't show it. But when they go behind you, they speak ill and bad of you. But right before you, they are smiling and they are cheering you up. When you are in your down moment, you will see them trying to help you to wipe those tears. But those are never genuine. Those are never real. We have unfriendly friends. In fact, if they happen to be in a space where someone needs to attest for you to get something positive, if someone needs to attest for you to be promoted, if someone needs to attest for you to get married, they will speak negatively about you just to make sure you did not get that winning. There are unfriendly friends. You hardly know them because you know why? They are always sometimes in the same table, eating, dining, whining, and rejoicing with you. But right in their mind, they are not happy for you. They are not happy for those success. They are not happy because you are hitting goals and they are not hitting goals. They are always sad for one reason or the other. They always want you down. At any time you are happy, you are elevating, you are making success, they are not happy. But when they caught you in your down moment, crying, sharing those tears, wetting your pillows, you would see them, they would be among the first to come around and clean your tears and try to encourage you. But right behind the scene, they are chameleon. Take it from me. Not all friends are unfriendly friends, right? But they have some symptoms or they have some characteristics of unfriendly friends, right? Their problem might be they will want to gossip with your name because they want to draw closer to someone that is around you, right? Maybe you guys happens to be clique of friends and you are closer to someone more than them. But now because they want to be closer to that person, all they needed to do is speak ill about you and draw closer to that person while you have problem with that very person. Let me give you a case scenario, right? And of course, the story I'm telling you, it's my own story with an experience that I have with friends, some friends. So I used to have this very friend of mine. As a matter of fact, in the school days, I would call her my bestie, right? And one thing about me is that when I like you as a friend, not you liking me, but when I like you as a friend, I would definitely love you too. In the sense that I hardly keep a lot of friends, but the one I have, I try to value them. So in the school days, we were friends, I want to say we were friends, but I don't know if it's the same all around. But for me, we were friends, right? But there are some information that most times in school, when I get those information, I will try to make it open. But when she get the information, she kind of hide it, right? But in the school days, I wasn't really paying attention to too much of that because any information that you probably hide from me, there are some other people that like me that will bring it to my notice. Yes, she is my friend, right? And then if we have any other friends outside us, they also happens to be our friends. So we are more like friends that have the same set of friends together. So we were good. We happens to always be together. Most times we kind of try to study together. So that I visit her place, or most times she also visit my place. We were in the same department and all that. So if we travel for Christmas and all that, I could go to their place, she could come to my place. We were very close, very close. So later on, we graduated and left school. But then there is this very day, most times she do something that I a bit questionable, but because she's my friend, I overlook them. But then one of these days, she decided to travel and embark on this journey. Of course, looks like she told her auntie that she was traveling and she was going to travel with me. But she didn't tell me, right? She never told me. So she embarked on this journey. She didn't tell me, but she kind of used my name as an excuse to travel. Now, along the line, auntie was calling her. She was not picking up her call. And what happened? The next person to call was me because my name was in the line. So the auntie called me and said, "Hey, your friend said that both of you were traveling and I have been trying to reach her, but her phone was not going through." Being a young and a smart lady that I was, I said, "Okay, auntie, let me try to reach her. I'm gonna get back to you." Now, I called her, but her phone was not going through at that moment. So I texted her and said, "Hey girl, where are you? Your auntie just called me and said ABCD. And you told her that I traveled with you, but you didn't tell me what's going on. Please reach out to me as fast as possible." Now, when she probably turned on the phone, she saw it and she called me. She started laughing. I said, "Girl, where are you? Where did you go to?" So she told me she traveled to so place, right? But I say, you would have told me. If you knew you were going to mention my name, you would have told me, right? And now she said she was going to call the auntie. But at this point, she gave me a reason to doubt this friendship. She gave me a reason to doubt the friendship. And I think at this point, for the second time, the first one, I wasn't really taking it serious, right? That happened in school days because there was an information she got in school that as a friend, she was supposed to let me know so I could be involved in that very information, but she hid it from me. But later at the back, I got to know that she knew about it, right? But she decided to deal with it alone and to get the credit for it alone, and she didn't tell me as a friend. So now, in this very point, I was like, where she said she went to, I know where she went to. As a matter of fact, where she went to, the person she actually went to see was somehow closer to me than her, right? Not as a friend. The person she went to see is more like a family to me than her. I don't know why she felt she should hide that she was embarking on that journey for me. I do not know why, right? But I felt bad. I felt like she didn't trust me. I felt she was trying to just hide stuff for me. But you don't need to hide stuff for me because whoever you went to see, you knew the person through me. You get it? So now I left her to deal with calling her auntie. So she have to call the auntie. I don't know how they sorted it out, but she definitely called back her auntie. So that left a thought in my mind. Now, she doing that makes me, I felt bad. I felt bad with that art. I felt bad that she was hiding that for me. For me, it does not really make sense. It's nothing serious. You could have just told me that you are going to so place, right? It don't matter. Now, that is the second red flag from her. So now let's get to the third red flag. One of the days again, she visited the city where I was because at this point I was already married, right? So she visited the city where I was living, because normally she had been to the city where I was living. We stay, we hang out, we stay together and all that. Later she traveled back. But then when she decided to visit the city where I was living again, she didn't tell me. She didn't tell me, right? So I never knew she visited and left. There are a couple of things that happen which somehow I just hear the story, I didn't hear it from her. But one thing about me is that I try as much as I can to be matured around people. If I see and notice that you are trying to hide something from me, I see no reason why I should poke in my nose into something that I think you are hiding from me, right? I felt you wanted to make it a secret for yourself, and I should not interfere into that. So what happened? She visited the city where I was and later she left. I never knew she never visited me, but we were friends. Now, someone that normally come around that knows we were friends, right, told me that my friend came, that my friend visited. Didn't I know? I said no, that I never knew she came. She said she visited and she came to see so and so person, but she visited and that he believed she have left. I'm like, how? How would she visit and she did not come to see me? How did she visit and she did not call me? What happened? You know, I was just thinking about it, but then my mind flashed back to the first incident that happened, where she traveled to somewhere and she didn't want to tell me, but she actually used my name to make an excuse before embarking on that journey. Now, after thinking about all this, I didn't call her because at this point we have already left school and I believe I'm already more mature, right? And you should know when people want to share stuff with you and when they don't want to share stuff with you. So I already know about this and I felt bad, I felt pained, I felt why didn't she tell me? But on a second thought, I decided to mind my business, right? Now, there is this other friend. She was also in in the same school with us in the school days, but she was from a different department. She wasn't really that close friend to me, but she happens to stay the same place with this my friend. They were like living together in the same vicinity, right? So now that very one had a reason to visit the city where I was living, and she needed to stay in my place. So she called me that she was coming, and of course, I obliged her the space to stay and do what she came for. We are friends, right? We are friends. So she came, and and of course did what she needed to do. But when she came, right? So we were just discussing, and because I knew she's still a friend to us, right? I'm not trying to justify how close she was. She wasn't that too close to me, but she is my friend, right? So something came up that we just, referred to my friend, and I'm like, I told her, I said, my friend, oh, do you know my friend visited this city and she didn't tell me. Yeah, that someone told me she came and left, that she didn't tell me. That I actually felt bad about it, but I didn't want to ask her. Maybe she don't want me to know, and because she don't want me to know, I don't really want to start poking into that or start calling her to ask. So that very friend of mine said I would have maybe called her to ask her. I said, call her, but I didn't want to tell her about the first experience that I already have with this kind of movement that she did, right? I didn't want to tell her because there should be a limit to what you want to discuss with people. So I told her, I said, no, since she didn't tell me, I felt she didn't want me to know, right? So that was how we ended it. So she said, she was actually saying maybe I would have just called her to ask uh, why she came, and that for me is a childish talk, right? For me at that point is a childish talk, and this very one always want to act a bit childish. She's always somehow childish, because for me that was a childish thought. Someone didn't tell you that they came around where you stay and they came and they leave. They didn't tell you. So what's your business trying to look into their business? We are matured at this point. Hello. So what happened? Do you know what happened? Now, the unfriendly friend here is not really my bestie at this point. She might be somehow, but at this point, I'm not making reference to her. The unfriendly friend is the one that came, visited me, and decided to stay around in my space to go do her business before she leave. Looks like she went and told my friend some stories. So it looks like this very friend, which I would call like a third party friend, it looks like she went and told my friend some series of stories. I don't know what she told her, but she did told her stuff, which till today, I don't really know what she told her, but I know she told her stuff, right? Maybe she told her that I said I knew she came, but now I know she must have, but now I knew she must have added what I did not say, or rather try to, become closer to my friend just to tarnish my image. Because that is what happened at the end. So now, whatever she said, I don't know till today. For real. I don't know. But then, when I finally reached out to my friend, I noticed she was sounding somehow trying to make reference to something that has to do with the other friend. Right? I'm like, what did she tell you? This is what I told her. And of course, if that was what she told you, I felt we are matured. If you didn't tell me you were coming, why should I ask you? Moreover, that was the second time you kind of made the movement and you didn't want me to know. So I'm only trying to be mature. What I'm telling you is that at this point, there's already a glitch on the friendship, right? But what happened? The other friend became closer and became the bestie to my friend, right? Now they have more time to probably talk about me, gossip about me, just to be close. For real, if you ask me at this point, this is what happened, right? So now I didn't still really want to bother myself about that, because not all friends that you had when you were little, maybe in your elementary, secondary school, that you still have up to this stage. Maybe you drop some, gain some, switch some, it depends, right? But still, there are some that you probably have as best friend from when you were a child till now, both of you are still friends. So it all depends. So now I noticed the game the other one played, right? And now I noticed they became bestie. They used me to become bestie, right? That very one that went to say shit about me used me to draw closer to my friend, because when you look at everything, our lifestyle and where we are, she is the one that is more probably in need somehow. right? So she used me to draw closer to my friend, and only them know what they talk about, only them know whatever they use my name to say that make both to become friends, and now whatever. So guys, at this point, I was still on my own minding my business. I'm already married at this point, and she was still single. My friend at that point was still single, and the other one somehow was married. The one that did the gossiping was also married, right? So now, what happened? It didn't end there. To let you know that this very friend that I'm telling you is the unfriendly friend. Till today, in as much as I beg the Holy Spirit to take out whatever she did in my mind, and I try to take it off just to make sure I make peace with my mind. But at any time I see her text, or rather I see her call, what she did rings a bell into my head, right? Now, what happened? I left the circle, they became besties, they both celebrate each other's and do all that. For me, I've outgrown some certain things. I decided to be matured on a different level, right? Yes, I know that friendship have somehow ended. Not that we are not friends, because we have a couple of school groups that we belong to. When we see there, we still, hype each other and that, but we know we are no longer besties. We know that. We know that. No cap. Now, what happened? This very unfriendly friend, you know what she normally do? When something good happened to this my bestie, and maybe my bestie didn't want to tell me, or maybe she have not started telling people. Let's take for instance, she finally got married, and when she had a baby, right? Of course, when people have a baby, they tell the people that they want to tell that God bless them with something good, right? But maybe at the point, maybe she just had a baby today. Of course, someone that just had a baby today have not gotten the opportunity to want to start sharing. But most people will still share to people that are close to them, right? This very unfriendly friend would be the one to test me and say, "Hey, Delia, thank God, oh, do you know what happened? God bless our friend with, you know, baby and all that." And for me, no strange attached because it's something good that happened. I will call my friend, I will call my ex bestie, I will call her and say, "Wow, that I heard what happened. Thank God, to God be the glory and all that." And of course, I will definitely send her something for uh, the baby that came. So now I did that, but in my mind, I'm like, "Girl, what's your own? Why are you trying to be a middle man here? My friend had a baby. Why don't you give her the opportunity to tell me if she want to tell me who the hell are you? When do you become the newscaster or the Amazon delivery that will come to deliver the news for me?" She did it the first time. She did it the second time. She did it the second time. At any time she come and tell me that, I'm happy that God blessed my friend, right? But in my mind, I'm like, "Girl, what's your problem? Who the hell are you? Why are you trying to be the middleman here? Like, let people share their joy to those that they want to share to, if they want to, right? Why are you trying?" In fact, one thing with that, my unfriendly friend, is that her busybody is too much. Excess. Do you understand? Excess. She would always come and chat me. "Hey, Delia, this, da, 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 da." And now, of course, they have already shared the good news to you. You would have to call your friend now. Whether your friend wanted to tell you or not, you will have to call her and say, "Thank God." Do you get me? So I always do that. Even when she herself had a baby, I also, congratulate her, give her a gift for her baby and all that, right? And then, so something happened to this my friend, which for me is something that I was supposed to know wasn't too much of a good news, but it's something that I was supposed to know. Not like we are enemies. We are not enemies, right? We are friends, but not besties anymore. For me, I was supposed to know, but I never knew. I never knew. So now, when this very one came with that her newscaster delivery, she came and delivered the news, good news for me. And upon delivering the good news for me, she ended it up with a bad news that happened like a couple of years ago to my friend. And after she did that, you know what she said? She said, please, that I should not go asking her, that she don't want, there is something that they have already forgotten and she don't want uh, talking about it and all that. Like, I'm like, if I've never been angry for this unfriendly friend, honestly, my anger towards her at that point was 99.9%. Do you know why I was angry? I'm like, this unfriendly friend always bring the good news to me. When something good happen, she shared the good news. Even at the time his brother visited where I was staying, and I obliged him the space. He spent time in my house. That is unfriendly friend, right? He spent this time in my house because I don't want to pay evil with evil, right? I don't want to pay people bad with bad. Most times, consider God in the things that we are doing. So there was a time his brother came back from far and wide, and I accommodated him. Didn't take anything. He stayed there for so long, as much as he wanted, before he got a space and take a walk. So now, in my mind, I'm like, she always come to share this good news to me, right? And every now and then, I only hear about any good news that happened from her. Notwithstanding that she is supposed to be like a third party between me and my friend. But now she said shit about me and she draw closer to my friend. But then you keep sharing the good news. But now when something that needed me to either, kind of call someone and relate with them, you are telling me that it's something that they sell, they don't want someone to know. And actually I felt it was said because I never heard about it, not until she said it. But then she said that, I look at the time when the stuff happened, I look at the years that have went by, I decided not to bring back the fresh wound, right? I decided to let it be. I don't want to go into that. I don't want to try to go and work in the wounds because there's already a good news that surpassed that. So why should I go back to it? But at this point, Delia, is telling you that I felt so bitter towards this unfriendly friend. I felt this bitter that I have to communicate to her on a text message. I told her how bad of a friend she was. You always come around here acting like an Amazon delivery, delivering a news that does not belong to you. You have no point to prove to me. You might have a point to prove to my friend, but you have no point to prove to me, right? So you come around here trying to pass a message to me, but then now, the one that needed for you to pass to me, you did not. I felt so bad. I shaded her. I gave her the peace of my mind via text message, which definitely I know she would communicate with my friend. They will still talk about it because women gossip for real. They will still talk about it. So at this point, I was so mad with her because I felt bad that something like that happened and I didn't know about it. But at a point, I'm like, okay, let the sleeping dog lie. Years have already gone by, so don't go awaken the sleeping lion. So I let it pass by. But then I felt some kind of way towards her because all the time she was doing all that, I was still taking the shit and tolerating her and just being a friend. But now, after she did that, you know what? I decided to set a boundary. I gave her the peace of my mind. I just kept her one side. So one of the days, I think I was in my prayer moment and trying to seek the help of the Holy Ghost just to make peace with my mind and make sure I do not have, so many grudges in my mind. So I try to waive that as much or little as I can because honestly, I felt very sad about it. So what happened is that I just tested her. I said, hey, this very thing that happened, to be honest with you, I have never been this sad with you, but I have to tell you, to be honest, honestly, it's gonna take the help of the Holy Ghost for me to take this off my mind. But at this point, I just want to forgive you for that. But honestly, I felt so bad with this, right? And I did that and I just, let it go. What happened? Now I'm on my own and I love my circle. I don't really care what you guys or what they think about me or whatever they have in mind. But I know most times if they don't really see me on a couple of social media space where they normally see me, they will probably be poking to know what's going on with me and all that. So couple of weeks back, the unfriendly friend chat me and was trying to say, hey, it's been a long time that no one actually hears from me or rather see me again. Hope everything is good, this and that. I responded to her, I say, yes, everything is good, and this, I asked her about her family and blah, blah, blah. We just talked sharp and I told her everything was good and I'm fine and I believe they are fine too and all that, right? What I'm telling you, the next week, the other one came chatting me to tell you that women gossip. Hey, Jesus Christ. Women will never change. The next week, okay, when their friendly friend chatted me, she said stuff like, we have to be reaching out to each other, right? That we have to be reaching out to each other. That it's been long, she have not heard from me, this, that we have to be reaching out to each other, not when something bad happen. And that is where we'll reach out to each other. So guys, this story shall long gone. But I'm about to cap it up here, right? So what happened is that my battery actually went dead and I needed to just wrap it up because I need to go to bed. It's almost late. So let me wrap it up by saying that what happened. So what happened is that I believe both of them have tried to look for me. Maybe they look for me on social media. They didn't see me. They didn't see any new update from me, and I don't reach out to anyone. I just be on my space. So what happened is that I believe most of them probably spend time with each other and they probably talk about me. And now the unfriendly friend, she was the first that chat me and say, hey, it's been a long time that she haven't heard from me, that I don't even reach out, this, that, and that we should always try to reach out to each other, not when something happen, we would start regretting it and all that. I responded to her and I asked her about her family, tried to ask her how she was doing, reciprocated in a positive way. And I told her I understood where she was coming from, right? But I'm like, why looking for me like after how long? You just looking for me, right? Now, to tell you that they have already talked about me, this one chatted me this week. Next week, the other one chatted me. This one chatted me this week, and next week the my ex bestie chatted me, uh, kind of trying to portray the same scenario and all that. Then, of course, I responded positively to both, and for me, I have an open mind, right? I already let go. I know we do no longer have what we used to have together before, but then life is too short and we all have to move on. I hold no grudges anymore, but I love my space and I don't really want to try to be in a circle of three. I try to cut my circle as much as I can at this point. And I'm going to wrap it up here, guys, but I will not still forget to tell you that there are some good friends out there. But then it depends on the kind of friends you have around you. But that's all I have to tell you today, guys, because you already look like I'm feeling sleepy here, right? Until I see you guys next time, I remain your get deep for daily. I remember blessed, stay safe, and stay out of trouble. Bye bye.